Hi everyone, this is the seventh video in the series of integrations, and in this video I'm going to show you how we can send an attachment over an integration from one application to the another. Uh, in my case, both the applications will be ServiceNow instances. I'll send from instance A to instance B. So if you remember, in the chapter 4 we discussed about how we can create an incident in the instance B while an incident is created in instance A by sending the details over the API calls. So I'm going to do certain modifications to the same script which I have written over there, and let's see how things turn out. So let's get started. So this is the same business rule which was created at that time, and I'm going to navigate to the advanced section and I'm going to edit the script. So there are a couple of things which I want to tell you before I start writing the script. I'm going to write a piece of code over here which will encode the file and send it over to the API call and send it to the other instance. So for now, I'm going to take into account only one attachment, but if multiple attachments are also required, then you can run a loop and call the same message over and over again. So let's get started. First, let me declare a couple of variables. Uh, One such variable is, let's say, encoded file. This will store the encoded version of the attachment. The second variable which I might need is, let's say, file name. And if anything else is required, we can declare it later. So first thing I need to do is I need to glide through the attachment table. So the name of the attachment table is sys underscore attachment. And then to look for the record in the attachment table for the current incident record, the way we can query is by checking for the table name and checking for the table sysID. So the field name is table underscore name, and you can get the table name from either here, get table name, or you can hard code it as well, but this is the recommended way since it is available to us and we don't have to hard code it. Then the second would be table sysID. So table sysID is the sysID of the current record, which I can simply get from the current object. If we are expecting only one attachment, which I am assuming as part of this demo, then I'm going to use if condition. Otherwise, I will have to use while condition, and this REST message call will go inside this while loop over here. Now here I am going to declare glide sys attachment. And glide sys attachment input stream, and it accepts the parameter of the sysID. So underscore ID. I prefer to convert it to string and then use, and then I will declare another variable for the byte array output stream. So here I can use the package call, new packages dot java dot. This is the Java file in the backend which we do not have access to. And we will have to sadly manually write it because it doesn't populate using control space. Now I will write these bytes into my glide sysattachment input stream. So let's see how we can do that. csa.write2 is the name of the function. In earlier versions it used to accept only one parameter, but today we'll have to pass two more, and then I can simply close the byte array output stream. And then I can simply fetch the encoded file from there and store it in my variable. And to fetch it, I will have to use glide string util, and then I am going to call the encoding function so that I encode this into a base 64 format. And I declared another variable on the top named file name. So let's make use of it and get the file name from the attachment table. And another thing I can make use of is the content type of the attachment. So let's fact that as well. And let's declare it over the top. Now I have the file in the encoded format which needs to be sent over the API call. I have the name of the file and I have the content type available with me. Now the only change that I need to do to my existing REST message is to add these parameters named encoded file, file name, and the content type. So I'll give it a name. Let's say encoded string is the name, and I can simply pass the encoded file here. And my next parameter is file name. And my last parameter is this one, the type of file, content type. So I think this scripting part is complete. The only thing is that I need uh, three different variables to store the value of the items I need to pass for the attachment. And for this purpose, I have already created three columns in my staging table. Uh, if you are not following up on the concept of staging table, I recommend watching the chapter 4 of this integration series where I have explained that in detail. So now I'm going to navigate to my instance B, which is this one, and this is my staging table which I created in that particular demo. So to save some time, I have already created three fields over here to this table: attachment data, which will contain the encoded version of the attachment, then contains the name of the attachment, and the attachment type is basically the content type. Okay, now I'll go back to the instance A, and I will have to make certain changes to my REST message so that I am passing these variables which I've mentioned over here. So let's go to the REST message. And this is the REST message which was used in that particular demo. And this is the place where I am passing the parameters. So let's add a few more. First one is the attachment data, and its value is in encoded string. Second one is attachment type, and its value is in, I think it was file type. Third and the last one is attachment name. And for that, if I'm not wrong, I used a variable with the name file name. So now whatever I needed to do on instance A is already done. I have an attachment attached to my incident record. I am encoded that attachment, and I am sending that attachment data to the next instance over API calls, and it will be stored in these particular fields. So when I'm receiving the data, I need to save that data after decoding so that it is visible on instance B in the same form as it was sent from instance A. So let's go to the transform map that was created for this purpose. And so this is the transform map that was created in the chapter 4 of the series. So here what I'm going to do is I am going to create a transform script which will help me decode the encoded data into the attachment. So let's create it, and I'm going to select on after. Then my data is coming as part of the source object. So first of all, I'm going to check if the attachment data is empty, then I don't need to do anything. So for that, I can simply write source dot name of the column, uh, yeah, I think I can simply use gs.nil instead of comparing with the blank. So if it is nil, I don't need to do anything. I can simply say let's ignore this. If it is not null, then I need to do certain action. So I'm going to glide to the incident table. Then I'm going to simply get the incident record which is coming in and which is getting created. So I'm going to get the sys ID of that record. Okay. And then here I need to write a certain logic so that I decode that file and write that file into this particular record so that I get the same attachment which was transferred from there. So I can do that using the string utils. So let's declare a variable for that first. Glide string util, okay. And let me declare a variable for attachment as well. And then definitely it's not null because we have already taken care of that condition. I can simply call attachment.write, which again accepts couple of parameters. First parameter being the table name, which is incident. Yeah, spelling is correct. Second parameter being the sys_id of the incident which is getting created. I can also use target.sysID. It's one and the same thing. Second is the attachment name. So, okay, yeah, this one. And I think, missing something over here. My last parameter is going to be empty, and then I can simply call string util, which I've declared on top. And I call the decoder function, which will decode this in the form of bytes. And I can pass the attachment over here. So here I can simply pass the attachment data. Yeah, I think this is not attached, but this is also source because we are getting the data as part of the source. Yeah, I think we are done here. And once I receive the file in the target instance, this code should be able to copy that file on my instance, B's incident record. So let's save this. Now let's navigate back to the instance A and create an incident. Let's add some basic details over here. Ability to test attachment as the name is the short description, and I'm going to add an attachment over here. These are my boxing gloves actually. So if I'm going to save this record, it should create a similar record in instance B along with this attachment. Okay, now let's hop to instance B. So there is one record created, that's good news. And also there is the same attachment which we attached over there. Let's verify the contents as well, whether it's just the name or the whole file itself is the exact file. Yeah, it's the same file which we attached on instance A and is transferred to instance B as well along with the ticket. So this is how we can transfer an attachment from one instance or one application to other application using the scripts which I have written as part of this demo. I have only taken into account one such attachment, but there can be multiple other attachments. We can send an attachment over update as well, but we'll be discussing more about those use cases in the upcoming videos as well. So thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe.